Yo, just chilling, up in the building, ain't doing nothing silly, no robbing and killing. I mean, I could do that, but I wouldn't be dang Shaq, cause a mentor or father figure, boy, I'm just like that. I'm past my prime, I'm past my age, but I still kick it a bit. I'm talking freestyle and fanatic, boy, I'm living that. Oh, don't say that. Pat say Jack, like Vanna White, we talking Wheel of Fortune, I make it right. If we talking game shows, boy, I be that dude. I'm talking Steve Harvey with two families, just call it a feud. I'm just chilling in the back of phone, boy, you heard of me. Matter of fact, I could do the last stage like a Jeopardy. I not doing that on the mic, but if you're talking spitting, boy, I'm doing it right. Matter of fact, you heard of me. See, I be third degree burns, boy, when you're talking fam, boy, Monopoly. See, I tell you how to get houses and hotels, spin around the board like you do in ATL. Just get some property or something. I'm not fronting or stunting, boy, I do it. I'm just running the numbers. I mean, I sit back, not sipping lean, not doing nothing, but I'm giving it to you like fiends. Serve them on the microphone. Anybody can get it, and I'm so fly like OJ, I get acquitted. Yo, what's up, man? Tiger Talk with Shak, man. I am here, man. Yo, I'm so excited, man. And we just jumped on the track real quick, man. You already know the intro, man. Stop playing with me, man. Yo, I'm excited, man. Past excited because we have been doing numbers. Just got back, man, from doing another show, man. Hollered at Edward, man, on the podcast, man. And we were having a lot of fun, man. So look, man, if you don't know, man, go search funny, sad. Don't even know the last one, but I got to get that, man. I can't be shouting this thing out the wrong way. All right, I think it's good, funny, sad, something like that. Hey, but we had a good time, man. Glad that we had to do it, man. And let's go ahead and get right into it, man. Listen, we're on Anchor, Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Apple Podcasts, also on YouTube. Trying to find me on the Meta, man. Coach Shak Bryant on Instagram and Twitter. Also, if you're trying to get the website, man, Tiger Talk with Shak. TigerTalkwithShak.me. Okay, remember Shak is spelled with a K, man. Don't get that twisted, because if you pull up Shak, SHAQ, it's going to go to something else, man. So Tiger Talk with Shak, SHAK, man, we gonna do it. Yo, we got a great show for you today, man. We're gonna go ahead and skip it to motivation, man. Motivation gonna be the first segment, and I want to talk and dive into that right now, man, because that's my focus. That's what I'm on, man. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Hey, so listen. So when you talk about motivation, man, you got to talk about, something that's gonna empower you. But it's good to be motivated. But when you have to understand this is that when we are motivated, we can be self-motivated. We don't need somebody to pick us up all the time. But then again, sometimes we do need an inspirational pep talk. Sometimes we do need to, hear something from somebody else. Sometimes we do need to be empowered to get back on our goal and on our focus. But when we do that, we have to understand, man, you have to get those keywords that mean something to you, because if that does not happen, it doesn't matter what somebody say to you. If you're not investing into yourself, or if you're not investing into your mind, it doesn't matter what you hear is going to go on one ear and out the other, man. So we're going to get right into the points. When a lot of times we're affected by different things when we grow up, you know what I'm saying? Our parents teach us stuff, and a lot of it's good stuff, but then, we might get something that, okay, well, we don't understand when we get older. Why did this happen? The more you live, the more experiences you have, and therefore that allows you to learn on the go. You have a base book of knowledge, which should be strong from good parenting. And then as you grow older, you see different things and you adjust. A lot of times back in the day, what people would do would just regurgitate and reiterate the things that their parents did. Well, there's a problem in that. And the reason why it's a problem is that some things work then that do not work now. My children have the internet. A lot of children have the internet. they're exposed to a lot of things. So therefore, a lot of things have changed. You have kids that are cursing now at 11, 12 years old. And so it actually becomes customary for you to hear it. Now, that doesn't mean as an adult you just take it. Of course, hey, man, watch your mouth if somebody said a curse word, but the times have changed is what I'm saying. Kids are exposed to a lot more information than they were before. My point in that is this, is that when we actually get into times and how things change and how people harmed us or affected us, then we have to understand that we can't allow it to continue to have root and to play in our minds. For instance, if somebody offends you, guess what? Our biggest asset and our biggest form of love is to forgive them. But what you have to understand is that the love is not for them. The love is actually for you. The forgiveness is not for them. The forgiveness is for you. And you love that person enough that, hey, man, I forgive you. Anything you've done to me, hey, man, I forgive you. And it seems like it's okay to hold a grudge, because naturally what we want to do is, oh, man, they did this to me. But you know what I'm saying? And it's natural. But at the same time, we have to understand that we are free when we forgive, because it's not for them, it's for us. In this segment, we have three different things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about dumb people, we're going to talk about smart people, and we're going to talk about intelligent people. Let me tell you how a dumb person handles ridicule, rejection, or something that happens in their life. A dumb person, they hold a grudge. A dumb person, they want revenge. A dumb person is going to hold somebody accountable for something that somebody probably didn't even know that they did, or if they did do it on purpose. We have to understand that a dumb person is just going to be like, yo, I'm going to get them back. Yo, I'm going to show them. That's dumb, man, for real. Because what you have to go with is, how much does that affect you? If somebody in your life does something wrong to you and you say, you know what, I'm not messing with them, that means that every time their name come up, you're affected by it. Every time they say something, you're affected by it. Every time, they come around, you're affected by it. So that person literally is holding you like a remote control, saying, get mad, get mad, get mad. You know what I mean? So we have to understand that we can't be dumb. All right. The next type of person is a smart person. A smart person is the person that actually has enough love to forgive. Okay. A person has enough love to forgive. So basically, if you're smart, then you understand how that affects you. And if it affects you, or if it will affect you, hey, man, this is not going to affect me, man. I'm going to be smart enough and I'm just going to forgive them. And then the last person you have is an intelligent person. You know what an intelligent person does? An intelligent person ignores it. Like if you get a crazy text, somebody hit you up, oh, this, and they hit you up with something crazy, say something bad to you that you don't like, or whatever the case may be. An intelligent person has sense enough to say, you know what? They said it. It is what it is. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to go about my day, because there's two types of people in this world. There's employees and there's bosses. And you have to understand which one you are. Everybody can't be a boss and everybody can't be an employee. Some people are employees that, are bosses, but they just haven't reached that level yet. Remember, we were talking about the other day, is that being comfortable in your comfort zone. When people are comfortable in their comfort zone, you never want to explore. You never want to want more. You never want to get out of yourself. So when we have to, when we get to that stage to where we get an opportunity to grow, we're so comfortable with being an employee that we don't even do anything. I heard something back in the day that a lot of the slaves were never fenced in. A lot of the slaves never had chains on. A lot of the slaves just were workers. They would go in a yard, do their work or whatever. And then after that, they would just go home. Well, if there's nothing to confine me, if there's nothing to restrict me, then if I want to be more than just a slave, then I can do something. I can escape. I can be free. I can go help somebody else out. But that's a touchy subject anytime you talk about race, anytime you talk about slavery. So we're just going to use it in this form. And I don't mean to offend anybody who went through that or owned slaves or none of that. But what we have to understand is this is the analogy that I'm using. OK, if you are a boss, you want to be with bosses. If you get demoted and you take an employee role, well, then that's not a role that's comfortable for you. You're bigger than that. And so if you get diminished down to that role, are you accepting of that role? Do you have to play that role with the intentions that you will be a boss again? Because that will happen. or do you just be content with being an employee? Is a lot that comes with being a boss. And going back to what we were talking about, is intelligent people don't address things that come at them. They ignore it. When it's something of an aggressive nature, they ignore it. They're bigger than that. Because if somebody sends you a text message and it's a whack text message, it seems like somebody said something wrong to you, then guess what? If you address that, if you handle that the wrong way, well, then that person won. If their intentions were to make you mad and you respond to that, a lot of times they're not even going to respond back, because once they got the attention or the reaction that they want, then that's all they need. So basically what I'm saying is that dumb people, they always going to want revenge, and they always going to want to get somebody back as payback. When we mature as adults, we have to remember that's only going to hinder us. Smart people, they forgive. Remember, the love that's shown to somebody else can affect how they treat somebody else. So if you show them love, if you show them an olive branch, then maybe the people that they deal with in a regular basis, they'll be like, okay, well, that person spared me, I need to spare that person. So we show the love of God, we forgive, and then we're able to move on with our life. That does nothing for us if we don't forgive. That's why we call them dumb people, because if you never forgive nobody, you're stuck exactly where you were when that person offended you. If you were 14 years old and somebody did something that you didn't like and you never forgave that person, guess what? You're still 14 years old in your mind, because you've never left that stage. And then intelligent people, man, they just keep moving. Why do bosses don't handle things on the lower level? You have supervisors, you have other upper management, you have other stuff like that. But when you're a boss of the company, people don't bring you stuff unless it's necessary. And so you don't have to address everything. Some things you can look over your head about. Some things you don't even have to respond to. Moving on to sports. I know you guys heard about Calvin Ridley. It's all over the world, man. And Calvin Ridley, let me tell you something. First off, before I get started, because I talked about this on the other podcast, man. And one thing I want to say about this is Calvin Ridley, I met him in real life. I have to say this, though. Calvin Ridley is the most humble, nicest person you will ever meet in your life. And before we go into the segment, no, he's not the clown of the day. But before we go into the segment, we just have to be real about this. You got a nice guy who's going through some stuff. He went through some mental stuff, in 2001, which made him leave in the middle of the season in October. So, you go and you look at stuff like this, but, we have to actually realize that mental illness is real. Anxiety is real. Depression is real. Hardships are real. And depending on how you handle those, like we were talking about, forgiveness, moving on, not taking revenge, not even dealing with some stuff, and it's not that you don't want to deal with stuff. Let me say that too. It's not that you don't want to deal with stuff. Sometimes you don't even have to deal with stuff. It's not worth addressing. If you've already went past something in your life, you don't have to resurface that. But, Calvin Ridley, man, he has some stuff going on, man. He steps away from the league, last year. The year before that, nobody remembers this, but he caught for 1,300 yards. He had a great breakout year. And then, of course, he goes through some stuff. You never know what he's going through in his personal life. But, he made a bad decision. Some people are so critical that people can't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. The problem with one person mistake versus another person mistake is one person mistake might have been out in the open and yours is in the house. But does that make you a better person? If a person gets caught stepping on something or breaking something, are you better because, you are a rapist living in the house that nobody knows you're a rapist? If you're a murderer, are you better than the person that stole a bag of chips? All sin is sin. And we got to remember, that mistakes are mistakes as well. And so just because your stuff ain't out there, man, don't get the point to where you feel like, you're better than somebody else. And so what we're going to say is in this segment, we're just going to talk about it. If you don't know, he got caught on FanDuel basically for 5 days. He wound up making a series of bets on the Falcons. And actually, there were good bets, like bet my team's going to win. It wasn't no detrimental thing like he's blowing the game or point shaving or something like that. But what I want to talk about is this, is that after that stuff happened and after everything went down, they suspended him for a year, man. Like a whole year. Now let's go hunt and let's dig into this. Now look, let's check out other infractions. Ray Rice. Ray Rice was at the Baltimore Ravens. Ray Rice wound up beating his girlfriend like she was a dude. You have elevator footage and everything. He beat this girl so bad, drug her out the elevator, all of this stuff. He got a 2-game suspension for that. You have Greg Hardy, who did the same thing to his girlfriend. Was a 4-game suspension, got dropped down to 2-game suspension. You have Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott wound up getting like an 8-game suspension or something like that. They dropped his to 6. Same thing. Richard Sherman. We all saw the tape. Richard Sherman goes to his father-in-law house or his wife's parents' house. And he was so mad at him, they were kicking the door, telling him he's going to beat his A. You know, that was basically, you know, a charge. He could have been charged by the police for that. You know, kicking in the door, hitting all of that stuff. Man, this man wound up getting a couple game suspension. And then you have Josh Gordon, who he got caught 6 times a week. Now, that's, you know, tough if you're in violation of something. But also what needs to be said is this: fairness. Do you know the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB, do you know they don't even test for marijuana? So for this man to be in the NFL and he tests, you know, and he pops and he gets kicked out the league, like, is that right? So where do we draw the line at? And I understand the integrity of the game. I understand that we want to make sure that, you know, people are doing the right thing. And it's not like, as I heard today on the podcast, you know, WWE, you know, it's not one of them situations where the league is fake and, you know, it has all of this stuff. You know, you got to bear down on something. But when do we go too far? Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose is one of the best people to ever play the game of baseball. One of the, you know, he played baseball for a while. He stopped playing. He retired in '86, started managing and stuff like that, coaching. And then he started betting on games. He wasn't actually betting on games while he was playing. He was betting on games while he was the manager. And the same thing, he was betting on this team to win. Well, you do have inside, you know, and if somebody get accused of insider trading, they get in trouble. But even in real life, when people get caught with insider trading, you know, the lawyers divert, and then eventually nothing happens to that person. But not in this case. Calvin Ridley gets a whole year. And, you know, Pete Rose is still not in the Hall of Fame off of gambling. So my question to you guys, and I'm not playing devil's advocate, but my question to you guys is which one is worse? Beating up your wife, throwing her through a TV, or Ray Rice situation, beating the girl to the point where she's on the ground and dragging her like a dog? Now, I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying, I don't know what happened in the Ray Rice situation. I don't know what happened in all these situations, but what I'm saying is that you get a 2-game suspension for assault on a woman. And this guy bets and gambles for 5 days, didn't spend more than $1,500, and he has a known mental disorder, and you kick him away from the game that he loves for a whole year. So, you know, we got to think about that, man. Yo, we're moving right along, man. You already know what time it is when the music starts. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm a clown. I'm a clown. That always get me. Hey, American Idol star, man, Caleb Kennedy, he winds up doing something, man, that causes him to be the clown of the day. What did he do? Well, he was at a boat dock and a guy was fixing on some boats. And that's what he usually did. The guy name was Larry Paris. And so Caleb Kennedy, who's an American Idol star, he winds up being caught on tape. And what did he do? Well, he inhaled marijuana from a vape container, and then he proceeded to reverse his car to leave. He was doing something at the residence. So he hit the marijuana out of the vape, and he backs up. When he backs up, he winds up running over Larry and he winds up killing him. He took a toxicity report. Everything came back and was confirmed. And he's actually in jail right now. And he's facing up to 25 years in prison for killing somebody, man. Now, let me clarify. The person, Larry, man, our condolences to you, man. Our condolences to your family. That part is not funny. That's not what I'm joking about. What I am joking about is the clown of the day making an infraction that could cost somebody else their life. Now, nobody cares about what people do on their own time. When you're on your own time by yourself, hey, do what you want to do. You have that luxury, but when it infringes on somebody else and you wind up causing a fatality, man, that's tough. Now, here's the other part of it. I pray not only for Larry's family, but I pray for Caleb's family, because Caleb's family has to deal with a 17-year-old kid, man. This is a young man. A 17-year-old kid will never be able to experience stuff that the normal people experience, because why? He made an infraction, a mistake. It takes one mistake that can take your life away from you. And that's the crazy part about life. You know what I mean? So make sure you make good choices, man. And even though he's the clown of the day, man, he can always come back from this, man. Who am I to judge, right? I'm just bringing you the news. I wanted to talk about something that has been, public for a while, something that's been going on for a while, and none other than the NFL draft, right? These guys go to the combine in Indianapolis, man. It's awesome. We were referring to it as the underwear Olympics. And the reason why we called it the underwear Olympics today, shout out to Edward for that, is because, when you show up to Indianapolis, everybody takes their shirt off. You're in your underwear. And then sometimes you still wear your overshirt. I know from experience. But, when you're testing for these NFL scouts, you want to make sure you have as much the least wind resistance as possible. So these guys get dressed up in their drawers, all the same color, you know what I mean? Matching like they're about to go to bed, you know what I'm saying? And basically they compete. Now, here's the funny part. The funny part is everybody on Twitter was making a big deal out of all of the Georgia people and all of that stuff. And yeah, the Georgia people came out and we know Georgia had a great defense, but everybody hyped it up, but they still don't have anybody from Georgia going higher than 15. Which is nuts. But some of this stuff is right and some of this stuff is wrong. So I wanted to go through the top 10 picks that they think is going to go. And I wanted to go through that and analyze it because, of course, I'm a football analyst and I understand how to watch film and things of that nature. So I want to tell you who's good, who's not. What are they talking about, man? First off, the safety from Notre Dame, they said that he's going to go and he's going to be a big name, and they talking about he's going to go first round. Now, I don't really see that. And let me tell you why I don't see that. Is because when I look at the film, he's making regular plays. He does have, the ability to look at the quarterback and drop to zones and find men and know where the quarterback wants to go with the ball. But when he ran his 40 time, he ran a 4.6. A 4.6 in the NFL as a safety is not really going to do anything for you. They're going to look you off and you don't have the speed to come back from that. So I think that, yes, he does go to first round, but I don't think he's one of the the top 10 picks, man, for real. Also, Aiden Hutchinson. A lot of people have mixed emotions with Aiden Hutchinson. Is he the best D lineman in the draft? No, he's not. I can name several that are better than him. However, he does have all the attributes that they're looking for. One being he has ran the fastest cone drill of any D lineman ever. He ran a 6.73, which means that he has great hips. He can bend the corner and he's explosive. Now, he also ran one of the fastest times in the shuttle. He ran a 4.15. That is the 8th fastest ever to be ran by a D lineman. He's faster than Joey Bosa, which is a dog. He's faster than Shak Lawrence, which is a pit bull. Chris Long, which is a monster. And Albert McLean, which is an animal. And these guys all had or still having great times in the NFL and doing great things. Now, if this guy put up the fastest cone drill ever. That means that he can bend and he can get out of turns, which means that he really can give the tackle some tough times. And also the shuttle, his lateral movement is crazy. So I think that he is a solidified baller. Do I think he's the first DN off the board? No. The first DN off the board or should go off the board is Thibodeau. Now, what can go against him is that he's had tendencies where he's been lazy, which the NFL doesn't like to see. But at the same time, this kid is only a sophomore, man, coming out, a sophomore. That is ridiculous. Most of the time, the kids don't come out to junior year, but with this COVID stuff, they changed some of the rules, man. He's a sophomore. He's a 5-star from high school. He wound up starting his freshman and his sophomore year. He balled and had like 7 sacks his last year. And this first year, he was all over the place, man. So I think this dude is an instant bomb. And when I say bomb, I mean bomb like blowing something up, not a scrub. Now, they have him going second. That's about right. They have Aiden Hutchinson going third. I don't know, man, but he's going to be good. Evan O'Neal, the offensive tackle from Alabama, he's 6'7", 350. They have him high on the board, have him going first or either fourth. I don't see it. I mean, yeah, they can get him because of his size and it looks good and all of that stuff. But, you know, just like we were talking about on the show today, if you're trying to build your team off of the draft, you already are in worse shape and worse trouble than ever. However, this guy, Evan, I saw 2 other tackles that were better than him. One is the kid from Mississippi State, and the other is, let's see, that's Charles Gross, the Mississippi State kid. The other one is Akeem Ekwonu. That kid's from NC State. These kids are both the same player, but the Ekwonu kid is a little bit smaller. Charles Cross is 6'5", 310. Ekwonu is 6'4", 320. They are both physical. They both have good feet. They both finish blocks. They both are aggressive. I think that you go with one of those 2 first before Evan. I think Evan has the upside because he went to Alabama, and people say that you went to Alabama, you know, you've already gone against the best of the best in practice, and you've gone against the best in the league. You know, the real person who I think is a monster and an animal and the best person in the draft is none other than Derek Stingley, the corner out of LSU. He did not get beat deep a lot. He was always in the hip pocket. He high points the football. He's aggressive. He has confidence. And he went against Chase, man, who's already in the league. And Chase showed out, killed doggone Jalen Ramsey. So with this being said, man, he already has the potential, man, to be great. And I think he's going to do a great job. Tyler Lieberbaum, who's actually the center for Iowa. I don't think he has good balance, but he climbs to the second level and he's really smart. And that's what you need in the center. He also pulled effectively, which most people don't pull the center, but he pulled. So I think he's going to shape out to be a good player, especially if people are running the zone. The other 2 people we have to talk about is Garrett Wilson, who's a receiver. He is a dog. He wound up running a 4.38 and he's 6 foot and 192. All right. The other person is Ahmad Gardner. He's a DB and he's nice. So I think the first 5 picks should be, but this is the NFL and everybody has, you know, something they have to pick for. But I think the first 5 picks should be Thibodeau first. It should be Derek Stingley. Then it should be Akeem Ekwonu. Then Garrett Wilson. Then Ahmad Gardner. And then Charles Cross. I think those are the ones that you go with, you know, but it's probably not going to work out like that. The Kyle Hamilton kid, if somebody drafts him first, I'm not really sold on that, man. But yeah, I hope everybody has the best of luck in the draft. You know, I'm going to keep my words because I know what I see. And that's what we're going to go with. Wrapping the show up, man. The gentleman, Larry, that lost his life, man. I am so sorry to hear that. Also, Caleb, I'm so sorry to hear that as well, man. 25 to life. That is crazy for one mistake, man. I don't, I don't know the justice system and I don't want to know the justice system. I know it's tough. But man, make sure y'all say prayers for these guys, man. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, man. Appreciate the show. Excited about what we do, man. We stream every day, man. We loyal to that, and our aces are loyal to us, man. Shout out to the aces. Also, blood is thicker than water only in certain places. You need water to live. You learn that in the basics. Better cherish your aces.